My husband of 9 years lost his memory and now believes he once had a white moonlight he could never win. At first I thought Josie's mind had simply scrambled the timeline, that he had draped our shared past over a woman who had never existed. Later I discovered how wrong I was. This is the 4th time since the accident that he has thrown me out of his hospital room. The white door slammed so hard the wooden panel stopped a breath away from my nose. It never touched me, yet it felt like a slap across the face. Outside, a few people whispered. Xiaoqi stepped closer and said quietly, "Sister-in-law, Brother C's memory is tangled and his mood swings are bad. Don't take it to heart." I smoothed the hair at my temple and sighed. "I'm not angry, I just don't understand. The post-accident Josie is gentle and courteous to everyone, except me. When he sees me, it's as if I'm his enemy. Even if he resents me for keeping him from the white moonlight he now mourns, surely it shouldn't be this vicious." I handed the thermal lunchbox to Xiaoqi. "Give this to him later. If he still refuses to eat, just throw it away." He hesitated. "It's fine," I said, smiling. "When he remembers, he can repay me double." The night Josie crashed, I was abroad. I flew back immediately, only to be greeted by his cold face. When I reached the hospital, it was past midnight. The corridor lights were dim, the long hallway empty, indifferent and lonely. I pushed the door open. He hadn't slept. In his hospital gown, a strip of gauze circling his forehead, he sat pale and expressionless, a stranger wearing my husband's face. Our eyes met. Before I could speak, a black object whistled past my ear and smashed against the wall. My heart lurched. Then I heard my husband spit a single word: scram. The doctor told me Josie had amnesia, partial, selective. He forgot me, his wife, yet remembered the love we shared when we were young. Only he had transplanted those memories onto a non-existent white moonlight. That woman, he insists, started his company with him, endured the worst years, walked every step to the top, but never became his bride. I don't know what role Josie has assigned me. Whatever it is, it makes him flinch with disgust. Still, I'm not angry. The one who spent 9 years beside him, through school uniforms to wedding gowns, from youth to steadiness, was me. He could never have a white moonlight, I was certain. So when Songyu appeared, I assumed she was merely someone Josie had mistaken. I tried to tell him the truth, but his new memories have hardened into a self-consistent story. Whenever I tried to restore reality, the fracture in his logic became unbearable and he fainted. Each time he woke, nothing changed. The doctors warned me not to agitate him. We had to take it slowly. I thought that was why Songyu found her chance. The week before Josie was discharged, he still refused my meals, though he no longer hurled them back at me. When we shared the room, he stayed cold, wordless. I sat on the edge of the bed and watched him. The gauze was gone. A small scar showed near his hairline. Eyes closed, lips tight, brow furrowed. Instinctively, I reached to smooth the crease. He opened his eyes. I froze, expecting anger. Instead, he asked, "Jiangzhu, why did I marry you?" "Because you loved me." The answer sat on my tongue, but I couldn't speak. The air in the room grew heavy. At that moment, Songyu arrived, pushing the door open with one hand, a pink lunchbox swinging from the other. "Josie, I'm here," she sang. A young girl, pretty dress, bright smile, 7/10 my younger self. When she saw me, her smile froze. So did I. A chasm opened inside me. The next second, the husband who wouldn't look at me turned soft, eyes brimming with tenderness, and called her. Yeah. Xiaoqi sat on a bench outside, rubbing his forehead. "Yes, sister-in-law. Brother C thinks she is the you from back then." The absurdity felt almost funny. "When did it start?" I asked. He hesitated. "The 5th day after the crash. So he never eats what I cook because someone else is already feeding him. So he refuses to see me because his white moonlight has finally arrived." The fire in my heart surged instantly. Josie's harshness over these days seemed to mock my foolishness. This absurd situation felt like a farcical comedy. "Xiaoqi, have you lost your mind?" My interlaced fingers turned white at the knuckles. He'd conjured up a moonlight goddess, and you actually found one for him? Xiaoqi sighed again, his gaze heavy with something unreadable. "Sister-in-law, I apologize for keeping this from you, but this person wasn't arranged by me. Rather, it was Sigu who found her himself." I instinctively wanted to refute him, but Xiaoqi merely lowered his head and exhaled another sigh. "It happened by chance. One afternoon, someone was talking in the hospital room, and he heard Josie's soft laughter. At first, he thought it was me and believed Josie had regained some memories. When the conversation stopped and the door swung open, however, it revealed a face both unfamiliar and eerily familiar. He and Songyu froze simultaneously. Josie stood inside and called out to him. As Xiaoqi turned his head, Songyu hurried away. He asked Josie who she was, and Josie replied, "Looking down, my beloved." When I pushed the door open again. The earlier chatter fell silent abruptly. Two pairs of eyes locked onto me. The atmosphere in the room grew thick with awkwardness. Josie's gaze remained icy toward me. Song-yu sat by the bed, her spoon frozen midair. Without changing expression, Josie continued eating from her hand. Then he asked flatly, "What are you doing here? What am I doing here?" I avoided his eyes, fixing my stare on Song-yu. She flinched and shrank back. Instantly, Josie stepped in front of her as if shielding her. A bitter laugh almost escaped me. "Josie, what exactly are you doing?" I knew I shouldn't direct my anger at him. He was just confused, but I couldn't contain my fury. Yet seeing him protectively stand between me and another woman. "Don't forget, we're legally married." Unable to reveal the truth, I clung to this technicality to bind him. Josie's expression shifted wildly. You step outside." Pale, Song-yu obeyed. He turned back to her with a reassuring smile, calming her instantly. She set down her bowl and slipped past me without meeting my eyes. The door clicked shut behind her, leaving us alone. My lips trembled, fists clenched at my sides. I spat through gritted teeth. "Divorce? You're dreaming." The door slammed shut with a crash. Leaning against it, I felt utterly powerless for the first time. Never had I imagined Josie would ask for divorce over some imaginary moonlight goddess. He'd rarely spoken harshly to me before. Back when we were destitute, crammed in a leaky room, sharing body heat, those days were hellish. He'd been scammed, partners fled, leaving him drowning in debt. We couldn't afford electricity. Winter meant huddling under a thick cotton quilt. Ice-cold water? He banned me from touching any. His once beautiful hands were covered in chilblains. Yet even then, on my birthday, he'd bought me a silver necklace. Cheap, barely $100, but a luxury for us then. I'd scolded him for wasting money. He'd just laughed, cupping my face. "Little Zhu, I'll make sure you live well. Always love you." But now, "Jiang Zhu, let's divorce." Using every ounce of control, I fought the urge to slap him. "Why?" I choked out. "She's been with me so long. She deserves recognition." His eyes dropped. "I meant to marry her originally. She stood by me through nothing. Yet somehow, I ended up with you instead. Apologies. But you were the one who walked beside me for years." The doctor's warning echoed like a curse, silencing my retort. If only I'd stayed calm, reasoned peacefully, found a better way without shocking him. But the weeks of coldness exploded. Like a petulant child, I glared. "Make me divorce you? You're delusional." The next day, carrying his favorite spring noodles, I arrived to find Song-yu there again, bolder after getting caught. She mirrored my younger self, manners, gestures, everything. They huddled close, whispering intimately. Josie's eyes crinkled with laughter, just like old times. My presence shattered the moment. I knocked sharply. His warmth vanished. His gaze froze me solid. "I brought you noodles," I said through forced smile, rattling the thermos. "Your favorite." "Not hungry," he replied curtly. Only then did I notice the pink thermos on his cabinet, and the lingering scent of her soup. Our shared memories stolen bit by bit. Rage flared anew. "Miss Song, shamelessness has limits. Stealing what isn't yours. Disgraceful." Her face paled. Before she could speak, Josie cut in. "Ms. Jiang, unless you're here to discuss divorce, please leave." He truly saw her as his lover. "I refuse." I shot back. "I don't love you," he stated bluntly, so casually convincing I nearly believed it. "You shouldn't." My nails dug into my palms. "You'll regret this, Josie." He checked out without telling me. Tracking him via Shaoqi, I learned he was with Song-yu. Her apartment, peeling walls, dusty doors, was eerily reminiscent of our old slum. Knocking drew a chirpy coming. Song-yu opened the door, recoiling at the sight of me. "Where's Josie?" "AC napping." That nickname turned nausea in my gut. "Who gave you permission to call him that?" She flinched, tearful. Gathering courage, she met my glare. "Ms. Jiang, AC loves me." "Loves you?" Fury bubbled over. 9 years of support you never gave. Or because you copy my youthful looks. Before she could explain, Josie emerged, rumpled in a cheap white tee, hair askew, looking startlingly like his broke 20-something self. Successful now, he wore nothing under 4 figures. Yet here he was, draped in poverty. My vision blurred. Before I knew it, my palm cracked across Song-yu's cheek. The sharp smack echoed in the tiny apartment. Next instant, strong arms shoved me backward. I crashed onto a cluttered floor. Sharp edges gashed my arm. Warm blood dripped. Pain radiated upward. Through tears, I watched Josie comfort her. He started toward me. Hope flickered, until Song-yu clung to his back, sobbing. "AC." His steps halted. Confusion clouded his face. My hope died. Later, when he woke, Song-yu reached him first. Leaning against the doorframe, I watched coldly as she threw herself into his arms. He didn't push her away, until our eyes met. Abruptly, he shoved her aside. She stumbled, tears spilling. He wiped them tenderly. "What's wrong?" I interrupted their tableau. "Miss Song, we need to talk." She jumped like a startled rabbit. Glancing at Josie, he hesitated. It's safe. Right outside. Go. His protective tone felt like daggers, as if I'd harm her. Josie never acknowledged his amnesia. His mind held only jumbled memories of me and Songyu. Xiaoqi couldn't persuade him to see a shrink. Neither could I. Doctors warned against stress spikes. Yet gentle nudging failed too. Every attempt backfired. Today's collapse proved it again. When he regained consciousness, Songyu rushed to hold him. My presence went ignored until their eyes locked. Sudden clarity struck his face. He pushed her away firmly. She staggered, staring at me with fresh tears. He moved to comfort her. My exit cued itself. This endless loop trapped us. No progress allowed. Retreat impossible. Fear of pushing him further clashed with dread he'd forget forever. Each day became a desperate prayer. Remember me faster. Today's failure crushed me anew. When Josie regained consciousness, Songyu moved faster than me. She pushed open the door and threw herself into his arms. He didn't push her away. Leaning against the doorframe, I watched them coldly. As Josie lifted his gaze to meet mine, he suddenly reached out. Songyu stumbled back abruptly. She turned, saw me, and tears welled up instantly. At once, Josie hurried to wipe her tears, asking softly, "What's wrong?" Unable to bear witnessing such tenderness, I interrupted. "Miss Song, I'd like a word with you." Like a startled rabbit, her already reddened eyes brimmed with fresh tears. Instinctively, she glanced at Josie. After a moment's hesitation, he reassured her, "It's safe, just outside. Go ahead." Patting her hand comfortingly, he added, "Call me if anything happens." She nodded vigorously. All I felt was bitter irony. Did he truly think I'd harm her? Songyu still had a red mark on half her face. It hadn't faded yet. I had struck hard. Tears clung to the corners of her eyes, making her appear fragile and pitiable, yet familiar and alien at the same time. "Miss Song," I asked coldly, "what did you mean by saying that Josie and I have known each other for over a year?" Songyu seemed caught off guard by my calmness. She lowered her head, clasped her hands, and after a long silence, finally gathered her courage. "Ms. Jiang," she began, "Ajian truly loves me. I know you met him first, and I admit, I resemble you somewhat, but he absolutely loves me. Ms. Jiang, a sea is only bound by marriage. Without you, we would have been together long ago." Her audacity surpassed my wildest expectations. "Does Miss Song suffer from a mental disorder?" I retorted icily. My words stabbed her. Her face paled instantly. "Ms. Jiang," she bit her lip. "Last August, your grandmother passed away. You kept calling Josie nonstop. He comforted you, but never came back, because he was with me." Jianju, the harmless bunny facade, curved her lips into a smug smile, savoring my pain. "For the entirety of last year, a sea was with me. We traveled the world." My hand almost flew again. Another slap, but she flinched first, shielding her face and whimpering, "Josie." Someone rushed to block her, their expression frosty. My arm froze midair, then dropped limply. Josie didn't rebuke me. He merely glanced sideways before guiding Songyu back inside. Unwilling to escalate further, I called Xiaoqi to keep an eye on them. Back in the car, a stranger's number suddenly sent a Weibo screenshot. I knew it was Songyu. I should have searched her account. Yet another voice screamed, "Don't." Sixth sense prickled. Dread pooled thick and irrational. Deep down I knew, if I opened that page, there'd be no turning back for us. Still I clicked. The images shattered every illusion. Each post, stamped with precise dates, matched memories I'd buried deep. 7 years. I'd naively believed we'd weathered the itchy phase. Thought his distance was temporary, that he needed space to find himself. Gave him room. How foolish. Now, fragments sharpened. Last year, they met then. Songyu joined Josie's company as an intern. Zero experience, yet became his protege overnight. At first, her blogs gushed about crushes on her boss. Teenage infatuation tucked away safely. Then she realized he returned her feelings. Slowly they grew closer. He took her everywhere. Cloud sea sunrises, ocean sunsets, Nordic auroras, desert horizons. Under the guise of business trips, they crossed off every destination scrawled in my bucket list. I'd planned those trips obsessively, visualized us laughing, posing, immortalizing moments. He always claimed busyness. Gradually, I stopped suggesting. Excuses became habit. Never guessed he'd already gone, with someone who mirrored me. In March, beneath northern lights shimmering cold, while I huddled in heated layers, drowsy from flu, he texted curtly, "Sleep early, be back soon." Lies. He stood under those lights with her. May 27th, golden dawn bursting through clouds. I'd pulled an all-nighter, venting at dawn. His reply came quick, surprised, thrilled. Morning hike with colleagues, he claimed. Another lie. Just him and her. June. Beach photos flooded her feed. Most featured him snapping snapping shots. Their island getaway stretched weeks, coinciding exactly with Grandma's death. Grief paralyzed me. Days blurred into morning, alone. Meanwhile, he basked in sunlight with her. Her last post vanished December last year, resurfaced April this year. Home-cooked meals for him, hospital selfies, intimate domesticity. Top pinned, June's plea, wish I could marry you sooner. My world cracked. Phone jolted me awake, his call. Jiangju, we need to talk. Hesitant. Too late. Far too late. Divorce, I rasped. Silence hung heavy. Your throat. Doesn't matter. I cut him off. Didn't you want this? Fine. I agree. Long pause. Labored breaths down the line. Finally. Horse okay. Divorce papers dragged 10 days. Didn't rush him. One unavoidable gala forced proximity. Arm in arm entering the ballroom, we performed marital harmony flawlessly. During a lull I murmured, isn't Songyu jealous? His smile died. Lips pressed thin. Half whispered, Jiangju are we? The rest choked off. Confusion flickered, replaced by resignation. Sorry. My fault. More than you know. Later, when clarity returns, he'll grasp the magnitude of his betrayal. Leaving the venue, she waited outside, white dress flimsy against the wind, frail and lovely. He yanked his coat off, draped it over her shoulders, chafed her hands chidingly, tenderly. I watched streetlights gild their embrace. Ghost of us years ago. She saw me, grinned, burrowing deeper into his arms, defiant, triumphant. Met my gaze unflinching. Congratulations, I said smoothly. Hope you two are very happy. The innocent flower bared tiny teeth. Thank you, Ms. Jiang. A C and I will be. His jaw tightened, but he stayed silent. As I opened the car door, impulse seized me, turned, yelled across the lot. Zhou Si, like 7 years ago, shouting his name through crowded hallways after class, wild and joyful. He turned like 7 years ago, but his eyes didn't find mine, and I didn't run toward him. No crowd separated us now, just empty space. Smiled wide. May you lose everything you ever loved. Lawyers handled the papers, refused to see him again. Those flimsy sheets, finale to decades tangled together. Settlement fair, cited his adultery. He signed without dispute, compensating generously. Signed in 5 seconds flat. Pathetic how months undid years. Appointment set Monday morning at Civil Affairs Bureau. Calls went unanswered. Monday dawned early. Sat outside closed offices till dusk. Phone buzzed relentlessly until Elchi's panicked voice cut through. Ma'am, where are you? Fourth brother's been calling madly. He just woke up post-op. Insisted on seeing you. Couldn't stop him. Street lamps flared one by one along darkening streets. Homeward, bound traffic thinned. A taxi pulled up. Doors flew open. Familiar gaunt figure stumbled out. Hospital gown flapping, barefoot, staring wildly around. Never seen Zhou Si so disheveled. Post 25, he embodied composed power. CO, effortlessly commanding situations, including deceiving me. He couldn't find me, so he snatched up his phone and called again and again. Xiao Qi's line was still open, so every call Zhou Si made only reached the same mechanical female voice, repeating its cold refusal. I watched the color drain from his face, feature by feature, until he looked hollow and forsaken in the vast dusk. I watched the collapse happen in slow motion, pain coiling tighter around him, eyes reddening, shoulders curling, ridiculous in that mismatched outfit. A soundless laugh escaped me. We're getting divorced, I whispered. Don't call me sister-in-law anymore. The voice on the line startled, tried to speak, but I cut the call. I started the engine and drove away, farther, faster, my glee growing wilder with every mile. I had never meant to give Zhou Si to Songyu. On the contrary, I would make sure she spent the rest of her life never truly having him. I mailed Zhou Si a small parcel, time to arrive just when it would hurt the most, each item sharp enough to overturn everything he thought he knew. Once I had been foolish enough to hoard every ticket stub, every cinema receipt, every dried flower, dreaming that one day we would unfold them together in old age. I used to fear hurting him. I honored the doctor's warnings, careful not to trigger him. Now I felt no fear. Zhou Si rang like a madman. I let every call die unanswered. Long, pleading texts arrived, walls of words I skimmed once, then deleted. I checked into a hotel instead of going home. A colleague texted. Zhou Si had come to the office. She told him I was on leave. At the gate to the Iceland-bound flight, seconds before boarding, I finally picked up. He hadn't expected it. His breathing was heavy, wary. Xiaozhu, I flicked the tassel on my bag. When are you coming home? He coaxed, as if I were a sulking child whose tantrum could be soothed away. How could it it be that simple? 9 years, roots so tangled you couldn't find where to cut. So I chose the most brutal way. I turned all those memories into knives and slashed until everything bled. Every severed vein was blood and tears. There could be no clean ending. I had never imagined we would reach this point, nor that I could hate Josie so deeply. Don't call again, I said softly. When the divorce date is fixed, we'll meet then. I hung up, rolled my suitcase over the polished floor, and boarded. When I landed, snow still lay thick. On the third day, a fresh blizzard swept in. My cousin who lives in Reykjavik took time off to pelt me with snowballs. 2 near 30-year-olds turned into children again, diving and rolling until we collapsed. I flopped onto my back. Snowflakes melted the instant they touched my skin, cold rivulets tracing my cheeks. My cousin's face popped into view, grinning. Up you get, Xiaozhu. Your sister-in-law just pulled cookies from the oven. I raised my hands, once delicate, now red and swollen like ugly little pig's trotters. Snow dusted them and melted again. It hurt enough to make my eyes burn. Goo, I rasped. Winter water is really, really cold. For more than 10 days, Josie spammed me with messages and calls, begging forgiveness. I answered only twice. The first call was from Xiaoqi. Xiaozhujia, he stammered. Brother C fired Songyu. She won't find another job easily. What she did was too ugly. He hasn't shown up at the office in days, just drinks. He told me everything about you too. He looks at the things you sent every night. He says he knows he was wrong. Yesterday he got drunk again. Xiaoqi's voice cracked. He cried, Xiaozhujia. I've never seen Brother C so broken. You were together 9 years. He says he's waiting for you to come home. There'll never be another 9 years. Another you, brave enough to love him from nothing to everything. I said nothing. The second call came from Josie himself. After 15 days of silence, when he finally grasped that I would not turn back, he sent a new, more generous divorce agreement. I received it curled in an armchair by the fireplace, cradling my cousin's wife's hotfengchab, drowsy with warmth. I forced myself to skim it. He was giving me almost everything he owned. The phone rang. I picked up. Xiaozhu. His voice was thick, probably drunk. He hadn't expected me to answer. His breathing stalled. Then he tried again, cautious. Xiaozhu. Then, like a fool, he repeated my name over and over. Xiaozhu, Xiaozhu, until he was choking on it. Finally he whispered, Am I losing you forever? Yes, I answered softly. I flew back just before summer. Sunlight lay clean and gentle on the tarmac. Josie waited outside arrivals, gaunt, skin gray, eyes sunken after days of alcohol, sleeplessness, repeated hospital visits. The brilliance he once wore like armor was gone. When he saw me, his eyes flared, then dimmed again. Xiaozhu, straight to the civil affairs office. I cut in. The paperwork took minutes. When the green booklet landed in my hand, a weight slid off my shoulders. Spring's last sunlight was mild but dazzling, bright enough to promise that everything would be all right. The box I had mailed to Josie, the one I re-examined the night I read Songyu's Weibo, held every relic from high school to the wedding, a decade compressed into a single evening. I sat under the lamp until dawn. In our 20s our love had overflowed. Now I felt nothing for Josie at all. Those long, pleading essays useless. Josie, you must hurt more than I did. That would be an apology. I turned, met his eyes, and smiled. Congratulations, Josie. You have lost the only person who loved you for a lifetime. The last light in his eyes shattered. His face turned ashen.